evening and welcome to Norwalk City School District Board of Education regular meeting Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Roll call please.
Mrs. Burkett? Here. Mrs. Crawford?
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Mr. Norris?
Here.
Mr. Ritzenthaler?
Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a motion to adopt the agenda. Second.
Second.
Roll call please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenthaler?
Yes.
Recognition of retirees.
Yes, tonight we have two special, not just employees, but human beings, two unbelievable staff members that have been in the Norwalk City School District for a long time. We're going to recognize Nancy Fell first and then Dawn Hall. So I'm going to do the handoff to Mr. Kania, who has most recently worked with her, and she's a social studies teacher, so you know she's a solid person because a lot of social studies people here, so we stick together, and like I said, you know that's solid from the get-go, so that should be enough basis. So Mr. Kania.
All right, Nancy, you can come on down here. So tonight I got the honor to recognize Nancy Fell after her 27 years of service to Norwalk City Schools. And Nancy, well, I don't have the choir for you tonight, or no surprises in store here. Your contributions to our community sing louder than any choir would. So I definitely appreciate your time here. In all my time here, I've prided myself on trying to be the first one here and the last one to leave. Well, Mr. Cooley took care I could never be the last one to leave. And Ms. Fell took care I could never be the first one here because your vehicle has been backed into the same spot for all of my 12 years at about 6:25 a.m. It is in there for sure, give or take 15 seconds, like pretty much to a T. And I can't say that it's varied from that much other than that. So definitely have taken that away from me. So I just had to be the first one in the office there every day. So Nancy is not a quitter. Okay, almost all her time here, she's been in charge of a couple of organizations, National Honor Society and Academic Boosters, at a time when so many just say, I've had enough, I'm not dealing with this anymore. She never said that, all the way until the end. And then also, like every good leader has to do, picked out a replacement in those and also provide mentorship and guidance for the next person. So we definitely appreciate her putting that on to the next generation. As Nancy retires, she leaves a legacy in her classroom of consistency, achievement, and I will miss seeing her every single morning, miss her dedication to her job, and I'm confident that her influence will continue to resonate within our community. As long as she's retired, I'm sure she will keep busy and help the greater good as she always does. So please join me, everyone, in recognizing and celebrating her 27 years in Norwalk City Schools. Also, her colleague for many years, Mrs. Gerber, is going to speak on a couple more personal items, I'm sure.
I'll try not to look at you either, Nancy.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure.
We can't look at each other.
Okay, we'll just, that's why I wrote stuff down. So I've been, wonderful space that we have here, new clock on the wall this year, keep track of the time. I'm trying to keep this under 5 minutes because some of us have to get up tomorrow, Nancy, so we want to get out of here on time. It was really hard to try and summarize 16 years of working with you. And Mr. Cooley and Mr. Kania, they said they would cover the professional stuff, and I was in charge of all the mushy things, so here we go. When Mr. Cooley offered me my social studies job 16 years ago, I was a brand new teacher, and he had assigned Nancy as my mentor. When I walked into your classroom 16 years ago, the first thing I saw on your bulletin board was a Domino's pizza sticker, and I knew that was a sign of good things to come. I could talk about the same kind of professional things, like your love of history, your knowledge of what you taught, how well you knew your standards, test scores, and all that stuff. What a great example of being a professional adult with integrity you were for your students in the classroom, the high standards you set for the conduct and leadership for students in National Honor Society, and all that stuff is so incredibly important. But I can also talk about how very lucky our department was to have you. You've had a pretty young bunch of teachers around you since I started, and some pretty interesting characters between Steve Gray, Nick, and Derek, and Brock, And I'm surprised honestly that you didn't retire sooner after putting up with all of our shenanigans for as long as you have. But thankfully you didn't, and we have always had such a strong department with great camaraderie and a leader we could count on to be that experienced professional example for us that could keep our formal department meetings on track and also keep our frequent informal hallway department meetings hilarious and bake us the best cinnamon muffins that any of us have definitely ever had, which we're greatly going to miss. So thank you for having such a big impact on us, all of us, and especially me personally and professionally. Not only am I permanently biased now in my belief that social studies people are some of the very best people to work with, but when I talk to our new teachers and our staff, the last and most important piece of advice that I give them every single year since I started this job as an administrator has been to find somebody like you. They're miracle. Somebody that will give up countless hours of their time to give advice and encouragement that won't ever make them feel stupid, even when they are upset, or let the hardest parts of being a teacher or an administrator outweigh the good ones. Someone that will be the first one to celebrate when things go well in life, and the biggest prayer warrior and support when they don't. The story that I read about finding your miracle that I share every year, years ago, said that few teachers will be lucky enough to be planted close to a miracle, and that being assigned to one as your mentor, co-teacher, or team leader will be rare. Thank you for being that rare somebody for me for 16 years, for trusting me to teach both of your wonderful children that have turned into such awesome, amazing adults, and for being part of such an awesome group of people in our department. I am so blessed to have had you as a mentor and colleague, and even more blessed to be able to count you as a friend. I wish you the absolute best for your retirement. And when you get bored from sleeping in so much and not writing lesson plans or grading papers, eating and getting to go to the bathroom whenever you want, and Steve starts driving you crazy for being home with him all the time, you are welcome to come visit me and be back at Norwalk anytime you wish.
You have your beautiful truck here.
truck.
Thank you.
And Nancy liked going, you understanding also his retirement life is not great. We have some positions open. We have about 42 maternity leaves right now at the high school, so whatever life is like, we definitely would love to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Former students, former students.
We could use a truck red advisor.
Yeah, truck red advisor. All right.
Mrs. Smith.
Wow, okay. Now, I can get mushy, it's so funny because I'm really like the timeline person, and Allison is the mushy person.
No.
Can I be the mushy person?
I'll be the mushy person.
You be the mushy
You do.
person. Don, where are you?
Oh.
Come on down. I squeezed it on it, because you're an extraordinary person, Don. You know we love you, but I'm gonna go over kind of the timeline of what you've done for North State Schools. So after 31 years of dedication to the field of education, it is our honor to recognize Dawn and her many contributions to North State Schools. Dawn's journey with our district began in December of 1990 when she took on the role of preschool teacher at Lick. Even at the start of her career, it was clear she had a passion for nurturing young minds and helping them grow. In August of 1992, she brought that same energy and commitment to Pleasant as a kindergarten teacher, leaving a lasting impact on her students. Then in 1993, Dawn made the selfless decision to step away from her career to focus on her most important job, being a mom to her son and daughter. But it wasn't long before she returned to education, taking on a new role in August of 2007 as a special needs aide at Maplehurst. So for 7 years, Dawn worked tirelessly to support students with unique challenges, always showing patience, compassion, and unwavering dedication. In December of 2014, She transitioned to the middle school, continuing her invaluable work as a special needs aide until March of 2020. Then in March of 2020, she stepped into a different role, serving as a custodian at Maple, Lick High School, and Pleasant. Her work during this time went far beyond cleaning and maintenance. She created welcoming environments to staff and students alike, always bringing a smile and sense of pride to her work. And finally, in August of 2023, Dawn returned to Pleasant as our special needs aide, where she continued to touch the lives of students and colleagues alike until her retirement this month. Her career has truly come full circle, and it seems fitting that she would finish with us here at Pleasant. Her career has been marked by versatility, dedication, and a deep love for serving others. Whether she was guiding preschoolers, supporting students with special needs, or ensuring our buildings were ready to welcome the school community, Dawn always gave her very best. Her dedication extended beyond the classroom and hallways. And this past fall, if you might remember in another board meeting that we were here, you had saved a student's life when the student began choking in the lunchroom. Without hesitation, she sprang into action and successfully performed the Heimlich maneuver and saved that child's life. Dawn, your legacy is one of kindness, hard work, and an unwavering commitment to making a difference. As you embark on this new chapter, spending time with family and friends, enjoying trips to you and your husband's cabin in West Virginia, and embracing that special role of being that stay-at-home grandma for your first grandchild, know that your impact will be felt for years to come. And all those lives you have touched. Stop, because I will. Thank you for all your years of service and congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. And we wish you the best in your next adventure. Now I'm going to bless you. He's with you every day and all day.
I'll try to keep it together. I was trying to think of the words to say for Dawn, and the truth is, there are no words. I'm scouring the internet trying to find like poems that have to do with like the heart that you have, and there's just not any that I could find. But there's a phrase that I'm sure most of us have heard, and it's something that my parents taught me. It's always leave a place better than you found it. And if that does not define who you are as a person, I remember when you got to join our team and work with our students, the all of Pleasant was upset because you're the best darn custodian. And you leave every classroom better than you found it. You know, you help support everybody in the ways that you can. And so, you know, it was like bittersweet for many of the teachers there. And we were like, yes, she's in our group and gets to work with our students. And the student that she works with that has worked with the past year is an incredible, I'm gonna get emotional, an incredible young man who's super unique and the coolest, too cool for school, way too cool for school. And Dawn found a way to enter his inner world. He communicates predominantly through a communication device and like sort of one-word utterances and emotions and his heart. And oh my goodness, did you find a way into his heart? And you left him better. You know, like he was on a behavior, he started a behavior plan before you came into his life, and we didn't need it by the time you left because you found a way to communicate with your heart, which you do with every single person. You've left our students better than you found them. You left me better than you found me, and our classroom better than you found me because of your heart and your compassion for everybody that you come in contact with. Students, adults, it doesn't matter who it is. You know, like this is, a lot of us have gone through many challenges in our own adult lives too, and you have been there prayerfully for all of us throughout all of it as well. But oh my goodness, the bonding connection. You can see in this picture, I'll show you guys. This particular student usually wants his space, okay? And Mrs. Hall has found a way to give him the space when he needs it, but also make sure she is close by for him to constantly rub her hair when he chooses to do so. And they have a bond that, I mean, it will be irreplaceable. And the impact that you made on his life by showing us how to be patient and kind and compassionate and being the best advocate for this guy here. Thank you. Thank you for teaching us patience and kindness and grace. will be irreplaceable, and we love you. And thank you. Thank you. Read, so you can always remember. And listen, Reed, we have to keep baby Reed to give Mrs. Dawn a couple strokes in the head because all day long he would just be playing with her hair.
Aw, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn. Congratulations.
I always said if Dawn wanted to be principal, I would move Mr. Kane out. If she wanted to be superintendent, I know when to step aside. I think I'm good at recognizing when people are strong in the area. I happily step aside. You can be superintendent, you'll do a better job than I. Like, that's what we've seen in the years with you. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm going on my fourth year, these, I feel like we get more emotional board meetings than I ever expected. Okay, sorry, so next would be special presentations.
Yes, so we are continuing with Mrs. Smith, and we have students from Pleasant that will be performing for us. So, Mrs. Smith.
We have a third grader first. And then we have two.
Rogers. I'm going to be playing Let It Snow, Little Drummer Boy, and Frozen.
Shides class.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a very powerful man. Our class created this mural of Dr. King himself. Reagan will now be sharing of Dr. King that symbolizes working together. Each student in our class completed one square, and when put together, it created this impactful image of Dr. King himself. Reagan will now be sharing a brief narrative about Dr. Martin Luther King's life. Martin Luther King Jr. was a nice man. When Martin Luther King Jr. was alive, there were cruel and unfair laws. Black and white children couldn't go to the same school or play in the same parks. Martin Luther King Jr. knew that it was time to change the laws. Martin Luther King Jr. led marches and gave speeches in hopes to make changes. In 1963, Dr. King gave a speech in Washington, D.C. He spoke from his heart and talked about his hopes and dreams for the future. He talked about his dream that someday everyone would be treated equally. He hoped that someday the world would be a better place. After his speech, this inspired people to want to change unfair laws. Over time, people worked together to get the laws changed. Now it's against laws to keep people apart because of their skin tone. Dr. King helped people realize that they can work together to make the world better. Today we remember Dr. King for his powerful dreams and wise words. I will be sharing a poem written about Martin Luther King Jr. I am Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I wonder if I will make a difference. I hear people fighting. I see signs that say colored and white only. I want the laws to change. I am a good man. I understand how to help people. I pretend the signs are not there. I feel very sad about this. I worry that I will not succeed. I am a leader. I say free at last. I dream that people will work together. I try to make things fair. I hope that it will work. January is School Board Recognition Month.
We would like to take time tonight to thank each of you for the time and attention you give to Norwalk City Schools each and every day.
The students and staff at Pleasant appreciate all that you do for us. You are one of the many reasons we are proud to be truckers. Thank you all and keep on trucking!
You guys have to run through that now. It's kind of like we're getting time ready here. Let's go. All right, as they stated, January in the state of Ohio, we recognize our board members. So thank you to the 5 board members that we have for Norwalk City School District. There's been a lot of work, and obviously the bond issue and what's going to be happening in our future. There's a lot of work going forward. So we're going to amplify and intensify what we do as a board, because we'll be meeting a whole lot more to make sure good things are happening for this district going forward. So thank you for your time. I appreciate each one of you.
I also want to say thank you. I appreciate your service to the district. I appreciate your dedication to public education. I know that it's not always easy, and sometimes there's a lot of work involved in it, but I appreciate that you're taking time out of your life to do it. It's very important, and it's great that you're willing to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All right, so next we have Stop Finder.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Sorry, I got distracted
The
and all that.
other day, somebody asked me, I was asking somebody, like, they use Dolly Parton. They had no idea who Dolly Parton was. I was like, what? Insane.
Something's not working.
Thank you. Just-
I did sit down. Oh, not done.
Sorry, I'm here so.
All right, so phase 2 of our transportation software through TransFinder is our Stop Finder app, which is the mobile phone app for parents to use. It kind of lets their kids know bus schedules. So on the app, they'll set the student card, which will show bus schedules, times for pickup and drop off, geo alerts, which is something I'll also get into. One thing that we're really excited about in our transportation department is we're able to send out push notifications to parents if a bus is running behind or late, or if there's anything else going on with the route. And then parents are able to message the transportation department. So this is what the student card looks like. We created a student called Test, very original. Shows the bus number, so in this instance, it's bus 27. We put them living over back in Deerfield, so their pickup is Gallup and Deerfield. Looks like they get picked up at 6:50 and dropped off at the high school at 7:15, and then it also has their afternoon PM routing as well. So this is something when parents are activated and subscribed, this goes right into their phone, they can pull it up, and this is the first thing that they see. So the geo alerts part, which is pretty neat, through the student card, you would click on your bus number. First thing that's going to pop up is your bus route, and you're able to create geo zones. So our buses have GPSs. So once the bus crosses that geo zone, it'll send a push notification to your phone, letting you know that your student has arrived. So in order to create the alert, it's pretty simple. You just click on the bell, and then that screen pops up over there, and you could basically decide the size of your fence for your geo zone. So if you want it to be 1,000 feet, you push it out to 1,000 feet, or the bus notifies you once it crosses into that zone. If you only wanted 100 feet, it'll also go there. And then you have choices of notifications when the bus arrives at your stop, when it arrives at the school, when it departs the school, and when it arrives back at your stop in the afternoon. And on the far right is an example of the test and the notifications we've received this week. So the push notifications, when they come to your phone, it's going to be a little smiley stop face in your notification bar. The one that we sent out today, just board meeting, this message is a test. When it pops up into your app, so if you didn't catch that on your app, you open your app, it'll have the little notification on the stop sign smiley face, and there's the messages there. You see the board meeting one. We sent one out for Halloween with a few people we had signed up then, basically notifying parents that students they're allowed to wear their costumes on the bus, but can't bring any props on the bus. So it's just a great way for us to communicate with the parents when anything's going on like that. Messaging transportation. This is pretty simple from your student card. You just click on the 3 dots and a message box pops up and you're able to message us. So we've gotten anywhere from my student's not riding the bus today to I've had some current concerns with who my student's sitting with, just different messages there. But it's been great to communicate back and forth with parents so easily. We're really liking this part. Then the help center through the app. You have the little gear down there you would click on. You click in the help center on the middle one, and on the far right, there's a tutorial for every part of the app. So for student cards, how to message, how to get to your message center, and how to create your geo alerts. Just basically, if you have any questions, feel free to contact our office and the support services or transportationnorwalktruckers.net. Phone number is also up there. Right now, we have 330 parents subscribed. So minus our staff that kind of just subscribe because I've asked them to, we're probably about 320. So we'd like to push that up to 1,000, and we could really be messaging out to the parents of the district. So this is the phase 2. Phase 3 will be the Wayfinder, which I went over at the last board meeting I spoke at. Right now we have 4 buses that are using the Wayfinder app. We're trying to get more as we go through issues that we're having with that. So.
Now, the Wayfinder app, which one?
The Wayfinder is student attendance. So once Wayfinder's live, students will be able to have cards. They would scan onto the bus and actually be able to give you real-time updates on when your student's going to get home or when they'll arrive at the school.
I had a few questions from parents about why can't they follow the route, and I told them that there's concerns with that because it has, if you have non-custodial parents and hostile situations,
Correct. As far as you can't follow the bus on.
Right.
Yes, we decided to keep that off for now. So just for safety purposes. So that's why we have it off. But if a parent wants to call in and contact our office, we'd be happy to let them know where the bus is at. So once we verify who the parent is.
Yeah, that's one thing that we need to get out there. That's why they can't follow the action, because of the situations.
Absolutely. Yep.
I have to admit, that was the part that I was hoping for. So I've been using it and I noticed 2 things.
Okay.
So and I'm sure I'm not gonna be the only person since I live in town, but where I live on the corner, or I live on Maple Street, and my bus for my children come right by Norwood by Pleasant. So I'm right by Pleasant, I'm right by the high school, right by the middle school. So I think, like, kind of watching the app, and I've been watching it since we've tested it, I can't make my circle very big. So for me, the bus is going to kind of come past multiple times for different reasons, not just maybe for the route. So I couldn't expand this without it alerting me when the bus might not even be en route to me or it's past me, or so I was getting multiple. So then I had to make it smaller. And what I was kind of hoping for was to have, and then because of where I'm located, it tells me what's in the circle, but it's not really for the actual route.
Yep.
So I noticed that. I noticed that when there was a 2-hour delay scheduled, it didn't tell me when the bus came or left.
Okay.
I don't know if it was because it was past the normal time it came.
I'm not sure. I'll look into both of those though.
But I did notice that, and I told Brad about that. But yeah, I get the reason for the security, but I guess, if you don't live kind of out of town, you can't make it that big to say, hey, the bus is on its way. So I guess that was the only thing I noticed about not having that part on. But I do like how my daughter sometimes will walk by herself if I can go in the morning. It tells me the bus entered, the bus departed, and I know that she's, on it. So I like that. That's helpful. Those are the only two things I noticed.
Yeah, we actually are gonna be scheduling a meeting with our, account executive over it, the person that's been working with us. So I'll ask her those questions and we'll see what she has to say about it. So hopefully we get that fixed, because obviously you don't want to be notified every 5 minutes if the bus is crossing through the.
One time they came over on a Saturday, so I don't know if our bus was doing some sports, but I was like, oh, that's cool.
Sports trip.
Yeah, so yeah. But no, I do like it though. I think that if you're too close to town or too close to the schools, it kind of throws it off a bit.
Okay. Yeah,
With the
I'll make sure to
geographic
ask her
circle.
about that.
So how are you intending to push this out to more people to actually use the
So
product?
every 2 weeks, we are sending out emails to all the parents. So it's just pushed out any email that they have in final forms. So our program talks with Progress Book, so it goes final forms to Progress Book, and then Transminder talks with Progress Book. So all the emails, all the parent emails, it's being pushed out. So it may be in spam if they're not receiving it, but they should be getting it every 2 weeks. Our office has been doing that for the last 2 months. So, like I said, if there are any questions, email or call us. We've been handling that. We had a parent email us earlier this week saying their activation link went dormant. So we had to send them a new one. They got ready.
And what has been your feedback from individuals? Have you received much from those users already or not?
We haven't received a lot of feedback, not really any negative feedback though. So the messaging part has been the nice part, because parents will message us, like I said, with a concern or if their student's not writing, it's instant, we get it right away. So,
I think it's good too, because when we first got when the school started this year, I got a notice that it was at 8 AM. And then I noticed the bus was coming earlier, but I just thought I was getting there earlier. But then my time actually changed to 7:46 AM, which is a pretty significant change. And my child's not gonna tell me the bus route time changed, so it's nice to have that, so if you make updates to the route, you know right away, so I do like that.
yep, absolutely. And then, like I said, when Wayfinder gets going for everybody, you'll have real-time updates on when the bus is about to be there. So we'd still like parents to have their children out 10 minutes early just in case. But
That's great.
It's nice in Corey's office. He has a large screen like that. So he actually, the whole entire district of Norwalk, he has seen that. So you can see where buses, so your own like management of flow, where people are, where they're going, you're having that real time. It's not necessarily a radio call, you're seeing that real time.
It's like Pentagon commands.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I like this. Hopefully we can get more parents, sign up to it. And do you have to have an invite, or can they just go to find their child?
it's an invite, you have to have an invite from us, yeah. So if someone's not receiving an invite, they either need to call our office or send us an email to transportation@norwalktruckers.net, and we can send them the invite out. So it might be an instance where someone has an exclamation point that they're forgetting on their email and final forms or anything like that. So, because whatever's there is what's gonna be brought up.
So pretty much need a social media push on it to alert the parents.
Yeah, and we did that in the beginning, probably be a good idea to do that.
Thank you, thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming over. All right. Next up is public participation. Each person who wishes to address the board will be asked to give his or her name and address. Remarks should be limited to 3 minutes in length. In fact, everyone who wishes to do so has to have an opportunity to speak. Additional comments can be made up to a total allotted time of 30 minutes. Great. Next, we have a board item. So we have for discussion, request for proposal for owners representative services. So Brad forwarded the applicants that they received to be our representative during the building project. So the thought process is, having a partnership with the state, with putting their funds in. This person would be our representative during the project. They're to know what we are hoping for as a board and as a community, and make sure our voice is heard. Do you guys want to, so I think we ended up with 5,
Yes.
right? 5?
Yes.
So I don't know what everyone else thought. I've only gotten to go through about 2 emails, but if we want to have a special meeting and bring them in to interview.
I think they're probably best to talk to, so find out what their
They're all somewhere from Ohio. Correct.
Ohio-based,
So yeah, Ohio
with an
based.
office in Ohio. Yes. And given that there's only 5 lists, the 5 of you read through it and say, no, there's clearly one that could be eliminated because you see, you're doing your own kind of evaluation and saying, you should not spend your time with that. But on my quick, and like I said, I haven't spent a lot of time with that on the read, but I would say with 5 that we can have them all face to face and have that interview. And I'll have some questions too that would be pertinent to what we want.
I'll reach out to my classmate down in Westfield, that he's on the school board for BOED, and they just had Westfield company do theirs.
Okay.
To see how they, it's nice to be able to hear something from somebody that.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
Really.
And I get some advice today, it's critical that some have experience with schools because some have a little bit of school experience, but some have done other bills, like large projects, hospital-based. It's critical that that's just one arm of their services, that schools is one of their primary arms. Because it's such a different thing when some of these are doing $2 to $5 million bills. We're talking over $100 million bill, and that's pretty significant.
They did a really good job on forward, just opened up this year.
So what's the time frame that we should have this interview started so we can choose somebody and have them in place?
I would think end of January, beginning of February, because we'll be into the next phase of the design architect and the CM, and those will be other critical parts happening in February and March. And those will be.
It'll be more of March before we can start with that part. So we need to have it done before March. So probably sometime in February, good time for your special meeting, because then you can decide what you decide at that meeting. Or if you want to decide, have it before so that you can hire them for the February board meeting.
So should we have a special meeting first in order to discuss, like, give us a couple weeks to go over all the different proposals and then meet and see if we need to narrow it down? And then after that meeting, try and set up time for February with the individual companies?
I think you might as well interview all of them. Might as well just look over your information and set up a special meeting to have them all come in and speak to you.
I know it's a little last minute, but do you guys think you could look at the calendar now and pick out some dates to give them, or you guys want some time to pick dates that we could do? And will they be willing to come here after 5?
The ones I've spoken to are clearly, because this is something they really want. So and I said, the value of having people here. Because I said, we can like a company, we can like a firm, but if that's not the actual people that are coming to us and working with us, it doesn't mean a whole lot to me. So make sure you're setting up a person who will be spending time with you and us.
Do you guys want to, first of all, are you okay with looking at calendars right now, get maybe a couple dates so we can give those out to everybody that we all agree we could do? Okay, do you want to do like the first week of February? Is that, it gives us a couple weeks to review.
Sure.
So, yeah, so if Wednesday nights are good, we could do the 5th, could be one of the options. What time? What time are you guys good for?
And I would see this like middle of an hour, so you're looking at 5 hours if you're doing this, so.
Yeah.
And we may have to split 2 different evenings because
That's
we're obviously,
Yeah.
we're locking them down,
Yeah,
they
there's
have
a lot.
conflicts. So like 2 evenings might be like give one evening a 3 and 2 the other one.
Well, the 12th will be our meeting.
Oh, that's right.
Is there any other day of the week that works for you guys other than Wednesday?
How about the 5th and 6th?
I could do the 5th and 6th.
I can figure that out.
No, if it doesn't work for you, it'll work around you.
Well, no, that's because there's nothing that works for me. So.
I mean, okay, well, what
Yeah,
about a
5th
time?
and 6th, yeah.
We got basketball.
I mean, because we can work around you.
Yeah, no, so that's fine, I think. What are we thinking, 5, 6, what time would you start?
Whatever, I'll make it, you said, I'll make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we start at 6 in a couple hours.
Okay, start at
2
6
days.
for the 5th and 6th.
I would start
I think
early.
you might want to start earlier.
5?
Yeah, unless you're saying there's a basketball conflict, because I don't have the sports calendar in front of me here,
Yeah.
but.
Because if you're gonna go for a couple hours and they're coming from possibly an hour or 2 away. You might want to try it if you can make it earlier.
I'd say like a 4 or 5 start if we could. So
This
you're
is
saying 4 or
4:30
5 to 6, and then maybe another night is 2 hours of it. Because I don't think we'll be able to land, like, maybe we could, but to land all 5, if we start making those calls, and we get them all slotted in within, here's your hour block from 4 to 9.
Is 4:30 too much of a start? Should we do 5? What about here?
I can do
4:30?
Mhm.
Okay. So here, 5th and 6th of February, starting at 4:30, and just, I would say, we could try to split them, obviously there's 5, so maybe on the day that it's 2 people, we could do 5, you know, if they, or not, whatever it is. Do you want to do it here, or do we want to do it central?
Central would be fine.
Okay, I'll do central also, just in case anybody's running, that's sort of.
That's something that we should be televised.
No,
I don't think it needs to
Typically,
be.
but,
It's more of a work session type meeting.
Okay, so 5th, 6th February, 4:30 start, and if they can make those 2 days, if, you know, hopefully they can make one of them, and if not, we'll maybe go back to the drawing board if they want to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I will reach out and make those contacts then.
Any other discussion?
So somebody want to make a motion?
Oh, yes. That's right.
So moved.
Second? You want a second motion? That's okay. I know. Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Edson?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Any other discussion or anything on that? You there? All right. Treasurer.
Okay, so for the treasurers, of course, we don't have too much this month. We do have the December 2024 financial report. It was close. I was concerned we were going to have it. It would have been a difficult month to get balanced, but in the end, I figured it out and we got balance. There wasn't too much that happened in November. We did have a lot of CDs called. As our interest rates are decreasing, CDs are getting called so that people can reissue at lower rates. So that's kind of a bummer. We did reinvest one of them for $98,000 at 4.35, but we do need a little bit of cash at the moment to pay our bills because this is kind of a lean time of the year for us until the February tax revenues come in. So I did need some more money at hand. So we kept a little bit, and then hopefully when our tax money comes in, we'll be able to get some more CDs. But as I said, interest rates are going down, which is kind of a bummer. But it's going to be good when we sell the bond because we'll have less interest on there. So good and bad. There wasn't too much else for the month of December. It was a short month with school being out for 2 weeks, so that did help. And then we have the minutes for the regular meeting of December 11th. And then finally, we have the Norton Public Library trustee, Sherry Ralston, and this is actually a reappointment starting January 1st, 2025, going through December 2031. That's all I have for you.
Thanks, Joyce. Their motion to adopt items 1 through 3 in their treasurer reports. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mr. Norris? Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Yes.
Personnel.
Yes, tonight we have 2 resignations. We have a teacher from Lee, Rachel Rice, and we also have a custodian, Carter Nicolai at Pleasant Elementary. So we will miss both of those. They actually landed other positions that were right for them, so they are moving on. But yeah, definitely, Mrs. Smith will speak. Solid custodian, definitely fit well in with the group. So that position is currently posted for the custodial. So the good news here, number 2, employment, Carolyn Lambert. So she will be filling, and she is here today. She will be filling the opening by Rachel Rice. So we are very excited to have her on board. Brings a lot of experience in a couple short days. You haven't heard this from me, but we have a lot of positive feedback coming. So that's good when we've only been here a couple days. And so yeah, that is definitely a strong hire. So that's what we're hearing from you. So I'm glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Cheyenne Hankins, Alicia Kaufman, special needs aides. So we have a lot of openings, a lot of shipping happening at Maplehurst Elementary, and those are kind of filling those needs. 3, we have substitutes, Caleb Summers, Angela Stevenson, as classified subs. And 4, we have pupil activity contracts, Jason Singer, as assistant baseball coach, And then we have a handful, which like I said, a lot of these are trucker graduates. They're happy to come back. We're more than happy to have them back, fulfilling coaching positions in the spring. So you see a handful there in baseball and then track as well. 6 for volunteers. This is a husband-wife combination, and they are going to be volunteering their time in the classroom. So that's always great to have. So that is what I have for personnel, Madam President.
Mr. Cooley, is there a motion to adopt items 1 through 6 under personnel?
So moved.
Second? Discussion?
These volunteers all they do. They do.
Thank you for being here. We're really excited to have you, and I think you'll have a ton of support. And Mrs. King is absolutely amazing, so we'll have a lot of support there too. But I'm really glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call please.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett. Yes. Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Norris.
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenthaler.
Yes.
Yeah, just one item here, authorizing me to notify the following superintendents of their expiration of their contracts that will close at the end of this school year. Dan Ballman, Ken Moore, and Tim Shield. Notification also includes their right to meet with you if they so choose.
And motion to approve item 1, the emergency superintendent report.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Not sure about that, Dan. Ball.
You know what I mean?
You want to be with us, Dan? Any discussion though? Good? All right, roll call please.
Mrs. Burkett. Yes. Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Norris.
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenthaler.
Yes.
Board discussion?
Dan, I did send you that information from Paul Bolter about the security.
I don't know, Joyce, if you want to, don't mind, because, it's something silly, but we're having a trip at the end of January here for the bond.
Correct. We will be going to Chicago for a ratings presentation. We will be meeting with analysis and analyst. Analyst. To be able to sell our bonds, and it will be the board president, the superintendent, myself, our bond counsel, legal counsel, and the investment bank will be going, and our economic development director, Sarah Ross, and we will be presenting about the district and all the wonderful things both in the school and in the community so that they understand what a great place it is. And they will be giving our bond a really good credit rating, so therefore it lowers the interest rate that our taxpayers will be paying on it. So I look forward to that. It is in Chicago. Due to the weather, we are going to have to fly in and spend the night, and then because we meet with them early in the morning, and they were afraid it would get like snowed out or something if we tried to do it all in one day. So hopefully we have good weather for it, and it should be really exciting to do this. It's big. I've been through these before, but obviously not for $40 million. So this is a big one. So, and then once we do that, then they sell the bonds, then we'll have the money in the bank, and then we can move on with the OCC and then start the planning process. Because like now, we're kind of like on hold, although I shouldn't say that because I've had all this paperwork to do to get ready for this preliminary official statement. So it'll be good. So that's next step.
Looking forward to it, and want to thank Mrs. Ross for coming and being part of this, and shows that she wants to see our community come together and grow. So really excited for this trip, and hopefully it goes well and we get a great rate and do justice for our taxpayers. So looking forward to it. Really wish it could have been New York.
Yeah.
Gonna try to catch a Broadway show while we were there, but darn it, maybe it'll happen in Chicago. Any other board discussion?
While the information I passed off to Dan is for security issues for the new build, they do have their headquarters is in Chicago, and they would like to schedule you guys to come in and look at a demonstration of what they can offer us. So I don't know if that's something that weather-wise, if that's something that feasible.
Yes, Dan, there's always room for more. Any other board discussion or comments? So I think Eric has volunteered to do negotiations. Appreciate you. So if you want to, I think there were some dates that we can catch them up on them, and get on the old that.
So this year, we're doing interest-based bargaining. We did it the last negotiation cycle as well. So that'll be 1 day, half day of training with the teachers. We'll start first, the NTA, yourself, myself, Mr. Baumann, and Mrs. Clark. So that training, then we'll exchange items, and then the fun begins. So, yes.
Anything else?
With our driver's ed program, we have an additional vehicle. I understand from Mr. Kane having a discussion with EHOBE. So we're looking to add that. I know we've talked to some of our dealerships here in Norwalk, and they are very much interested in helping. Maybe not today, but that's going to be happening. So we have some alternatives. So Mr. Kane, if you want to cover that quickly.
Yeah, EHOBE got another car. We're gonna take their oldest one in the fleet until we secure another one and at least use it for backup. We can use it for 30 days through the state and then possibly look to either do a small purchase for it or have them donate it to us once they kind of get around, and that'll help us with the amount of kids we have to drive, so.
Mr. King, you said that for this semester, the classes are full.
Yeah,
With a waiting list.
Yeah, we're full, going through waiting lists on this term and getting ready to roll the first official session tomorrow, so.
8 hours drive time per student.
Yep.
And things have changed, so it's not like some of us were, you jam 12 kids in a vehicle and you just drive to Toledo and you stop at the side and then have someone sweating. Like, now it's not that, you have one per with an instructor, so things are a bit different, yeah.
Had my condolences when we had my daughter in the car. Tell you, I've already experienced that. It's a lot of fun. All right, any other board discussion? Okay, motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenthaler?
Yes.
Thank you.
The cookies, they're really good.
Yeah, we have cookies here.
I think I've eaten enough for all.